To Kill a Mockingbird is a novel that explores the challenges of growing up in the 1930s in the southern United States. Set over three pivotal years, the story follows the significant development of its main characters. Scout Finch lives in the fictional town of Maycomb, Alabama, with her brother Jem and their father Atticus. In this small community, social status is deeply rooted in family background, location, and history. Atticus, a widower, raises his children with the help of caring neighbors and their black housekeeper. Scout and Jem quickly grasp the complexities of the town and its residents. However, the mysterious actor Boo Radley, a recluse neighbor, remains an enigma. When Dale, the nephew of a neighbor, begins spending summers in Maycomb, the three children become obsessed with the idea of casting Boo out of his seclusion, embarking on a risky and daring adventure. Scout, a spirited tomboy, finds herself more comfortable in the company of boys and often settles conflicts with her fists. She struggles to understand a world that pressures her to behave like a lady, a brother who mocks her for acting like a girl, and a father who accepts her as she is. Uninterested in school, Scout gains her most meaningful education from her experiences on her own street and through the wisdom of her father. As the story progresses, Scout and her brother Jem discover that their father Atticus will be defending Tom Robinson, a black man accused of raping and assaulting a white woman. This revelation brings a wave of racial slurs and insults directed at Scout and Jem because of Atticus's involvement in the trial. During this challenging time, Scout finds it increasingly difficult to refrain from fighting, which leads to disapproval from her aunt Alexandra and uncle Jack. Even Jem, usually the more composed of the two, occasionally loses his temper. After retaliating against their neighbor Mrs. Dubois by destroying her flowers, Jem is punished by having to read to her every day after school for a month. This experience teaches Scout and Jem an important lesson about courage and perseverance. As the trial nears, Aunt Alexandra moves in with the family, claiming she wants to provide a proper feminine influence for Scout. In this novel's final summer, Tom is unjustly convicted, even though Atticus proves he could not have committed the crime. While defending Tom, Atticus unintentionally offends Bob Ewell, a spiteful drunk whose daughter is the accuser. Despite the conviction, Ewell vows revenge on Atticus and the judge for further damaging his already tarnished reputation. The children are left puzzled and disillusioned by the jury's decision, but Atticus tries to explain why the outcome was almost inevitable. Not long after the trial, Scout attends a missionary society meeting hosted by her aunt. The meeting is interrupted by Atticus's arrival with the heartbreaking news that Tom Robinson was killed during an escape attempt. That day, Scout gains insight into what it means to be a woman and the resilience needed to face life's hardships. As life in Maycomb gradually returns to its usual rhythm, Scout and Jem's fascination with Boo Radley begins to fade. The story appears to be winding down, but then Bob Ewell makes good on his threats of revenge. Scout is set to participate in her school's Halloween pageant, where she will play the part of a ham, with Atticus and Aunt Alexandra too tired to attend. Jem agrees to accompany her to the event. After a mishap on stage, Scout decides to keep her ham costume on for the walk home. On their way back, the siblings hear strange noises. Initially, they brush them off, assuming they are just from a friend who has spooked them earlier that evening. Suddenly they are attacked. Scout, hindered by her costume, can't see much but hears Jem struggling and feels strong arms squeezing the chicken wire of her costume against her skin. In the midst of the chaos, Jem's arm is severely broken. Scout manages to glimpse through a small opening in her costume and sees a stranger carrying Jem back to their house. The sheriff arrives at the Finch home with startling news. Bob Ewell has been found dead under the tree where the children were attacked, apparently having fallen on his own knife. By now, Scout realizes that the mysterious stranger is none other than Boo Bradley, who intervened to save her and Jem by killing Ewell. Despite Atticus' initial insistence on following the law, the sheriff decides to protect Boo by not pressing charges. Scout agrees with this decision and explains her reasoning to her father. Boo, after checking on Jem one last time, asks Scout to accompany him home. Instead of leading him like a child, Scout allows Boo to escort her, treating him with the dignity of a gentleman. Once Boo is safely home, Scout returns to Jem's room, where Atticus is waiting. He reads to her until she falls asleep, then keeps vigil by Jem's bedside, waiting for his son to wake.